That was a very interesting holiday. It's called Kukri. And so, basically the culture goes back tens of thousands of years, who knows how long. And the culture goes back to what you call pagan rituals. And of course, that's probably not the correct term, but the part of the culture requires a fright mask, and the mask represents various spiritual essences of the season, and the main aspect of the festival is where the men wear the fright masks, and they go around door to door, and they're drinking the local fire water, perhaps as an alcoholic beverage, and they're knocking on the door and they're asking for a dried pretzel called a gavretzi. And you knock on the door and you give the pretzel, and you're kind of like giving a offering to the local spirits, and
ward them away.
Yeah, to ward them away. And then there's more to the festival as well. But and of course the procession would continue once they've done their rounds, and they've gone and they've knocked on all the neighbors' doors, and they've gathered all their gavretzi, their pretzels. I mean, there's this large procession, and they're lifting people on top of a float, and they're celebrating spring or autumn. They're celebrating autumn, and they're celebrating a successful crop. I mean, I think that the gavretzi represents. I mean, you can't have a pretzel unless you have wheat, and the wheat leads to flour, and the flour leads to the pretzel. And and I'm not talking about like little tiny pretzels. I'm talking about like the large kind of woven pretzels. And so it kind of represents bounty. What you're celebrating is a successful crop, I think. I mean, I think, living in growing up in Illinois and then moving to Bulgaria, everything was different.
Quite different.
Yeah. I mean, I will tell you, would you believe it, that even the way people shake their head, yes and no, is opposite. So when you say yes, you say da. And when you say no, you say ne. And then so that's the opposite. So even yes and no is opposite. I mean, you could say it's opposite, but it's different. So there's a lot of things that you learn to change as you adapt to a different culture. And I think that's one of the benefits of living abroad or of experiencing other cultures is you learn how other people navigate the currents of existence, and B, you see how people solve their own problems. And a lot of those are metaphors that are represented in a cultural tradition, in a language, and a series of customs. And one of those customs was the festival of Kukri. So yeah, it's always a great adventure to live abroad, to see how the mind is mapped as it's transformed by another language. And it's one of the aspects of existence that allows you to see that, what you expect in life is not always limited by your experiences, but by the experiences and cultural traditions of others.
No, I just thought it was interesting because I've never heard of that tradition before in Bulgaria. I've never heard of anything like it, actually.
Yeah, and there's a lot of traditions. There's another tradition that in spring you tie a red and white string along the trees, and you're looking for the first stork to appear to bring on spring. And you tie these martinitsis, and you're waiting for Mother March, Baba Marta, and you're waiting for Baba Marta to bring upon the spring, which will bring upon the bounty. And you say, happy Mother March. You say, Chestita Baba Marta. And so you tie the red and white strings. You wait for the stork, and you welcome the spring. And that's another festival. In fact, there are many superstitions that we would call superstitions in Bulgaria. For example, if you have a bad dream, you tell the dream to the water. You actually think out what was bad about that dream, and you do it into a body of water, let's say a stream or a lake. Or another strange custom in Bulgaria is if you see a dead bird, you must hold your hair and look up into the sky until you see an open window or an open door or some sort of an opening, so that you might release the spirit of the bird that you have seen that has passed away into the next life. And you must open up this door, this window of existence, to release the spirit of the bird. And who knows where these customs, where these traditions come from, but these human beings that live in this country, Bulgaria, they hold themselves to it.